Hello student, we are continuing contents of first unit, cement and refractories. Cement, that is a material obtained or manufactured by blending raw materials like chalk, clay, shale at high temperature of 1400 degrees centigrade, and obtained clinker is then pulverized and mixed with gypsum to have cement. So what is cement? Cement is a mixture of silicates and aluminates of calcium with small amount of gypsum and a good binding material. That is a cement. What are the composition of cement? Constituent of cement. Constituent of cements are, first one is lime. Cement is rich in lime, around 60 to 70% of lime it is there. Then it consists of silica, 17 to 25%. Then alumina, for setting it needs alumina, earlier setting, 3 to 8%. And then specific gray color to the cement is due to presence of iron oxide. Now, average compound composition of PC, Portland cement. It consists of C2S, try to remember abbreviation along with their long form. C2S, dicalcium silicate, C for CaO and S for SiO2. C2S, this compound is present around 25% of bag cement. C3S, which is 45%, C3A 10%, and finally tetracalcium aluminoferrite C4AF 10%. And rest of the component are like gypsum is 4%, free lime is 2%, and magnesium oxide is 4%. Try to remember setting time of these compounds. That is, dicalcium silicate is longer setting material. It requires 28 days for complete setting, and earlier setting is due to presence of this A. That is, whenever aluminium is there, it gives early strength to the cement. Now, setting and hardening of cement. Try to remember, setting is nothing but stiffening of plastic mass. That is, when we mix water in cement, it gives us a plastic mass, which set within a short period of time. That is due to formation of initial gel. That is a setting. And hardening, after a certain hour, the plastic mass converts into a rock. That is development of strength due to crystallization. That is hardening. These are two different terms, setting and hardening. Just few minutes ago I told you that due to presence of aluminium component, initial set to the cement is acquired, or it gives initial set, whereas elongation or prolonged strength is due to presence of silicates, C2S, C3S. So try to remember this abbreviations along with their setting time. C3A, which provides flash set, it is also called as initial set. That is 1 day set is due to C3A. Later on, as days goes on, in presence of water, cement sets properly, it get hardened. In coming 7 days, whatever strength is acquired, that is due to presence of tricalcium silicate, C3S. And finally, after 28 days, whatever strength or whatever rocky material obtained from the cement is giving ultimate strength due to presence of C2S and C3S. Now, just focusing on biocement. Biocement, this is the natural material which is having self-healing character. It is the calcium carbonate deposit from certain bacteria, and for that example which I have given in class also, that is, when there are gaps on wall, sometimes we find that after a certain exposure the gaps automatically fills. That is due to presence of certain bacteria which are self-filling bacteria which fills gap inside the wall by means of depositing or by means of secretion of calcium carbonate through their excreta. Now we are moving for next content of the same, that is lime. Lime is the material with formula CaO, and a very famous material is limestone, that is CaCO3. When limestone is heated, then carbon dioxide escapes and it gives us lime. Whatever lime we use in our daily life or daily routine, that is a slake lime. Remember guys, what is slaking of lime? Slaking of lime is nothing but reaction of lime with water is slaking. This is the exothermic reaction with huge, that is during this reaction huge amount of energy or heat is liberated with hissing sound, and expansion of volume take place. The obtained mass is known as slake lime. The lime which we purchase from market is hydrated lime, that is completely slake lime is not provided by manufacturer. They provide us hydrated lime which we bring and mix with water and use for whatever purposes we want to. The hydrated lime is also called as a quick lime. Quick lime, that is easy to handle, can be used with no danger, and just you need to mix water and use it. Next we are moving for classification of lime. In our syllabus there are 4 classes of lime, that is, or basically there are these important 4 classes of lime. High calcium lime, due to more percentage of calcium it is also called as fat lime. It consists of 90 to 95% of lime only, whereas rest is mud matter like silica, alumina, iron oxide, etc. Specific application of this is it gives very white wash, hence widely used for plastering of wall, and water softening is again one important application of fat lime. Next is poor lime. Name itself indicate that it consists of less amount of lime. It consists of 75% of lime and 25% of clay. It is muddy in color and quite cheap, hence used for again whitewashing, but very clearly it is used for making inferior mortar. Next is hydraulic lime. Hydraulic lime is the lime which consists of 70 to 80% of lime and varying percentage of clay. That is, as percentage of clay goes on increasing, the quality of lime goes on decreasing. There are 3 more varieties of hydraulic lime. They are feebly hydraulic lime, moderately hydraulic lime, and imminent hydraulic lime. I am going to discuss 2 important properties of these 3 lime. First is slaking. In case of feebly hydraulic lime, it slakes very slowly, but slakes in 60 minutes. Whereas in case of imminent hydraulic lime, it slakes with difficulty. Setting time, in case of feebly hydraulic lime, it takes near about 3 weeks for complete setting, whereas imminent hydraulic lime sets within certain hours or 1 or 2 days. Quality of mortar, in case of feebly hydraulic lime, good mortar, whereas imminent hydraulic lime gives us strong mortar, and hence imminent hydraulic lime is expensive, whereas feebly hydraulic lime is cheap. Last one, dolomite. Dolomite is the name of rock which consists of proportion of calcium and magnesium, that is calcium carbonate and magnesium carbonate. It consists of 60 to 70% of lime and 30 to 40% of MgO. This is the very specific lime having a specific application in refractories. That is, due to presence of calcium and magnesium, it is having extraordinary character of refractoriness. Hence, use in furnace, lining of furnace, use as a flux in metallurgy. It is expensive. Now, uses of lime. Lime is used as a mortar like cement. It is used as a flux in a metallurgical process. It is used in water softening. It is used in paper industry. It is also used in purification of bleaching powder, sodium hydroxide. That is, certain chemical industry uses lime. Now, refractories. Remember meaning of refractory. Refractory means the material which can stay as it is at a high temperature. That is a refractory material. So, refractory materials have tendency to bear high temperature and to stay as it is at a high temperature. Types of refractories or classification of refractories. There are three varieties of refractories: acidic, basic and neutral. Acidic refractories, these are manufactured or prepared by using or from fire clay, quartz, ganister. Basic refractories, these are prepared from calcium oxide and magnesium oxide, that is dolomite. Whereas neutral refractories, they are obtained from bauxite and chromite. So where they are used, acidic refractories does not get affected by acid but get affected by bases. Basic refractories doesn't get affected by base but get affected by acid, whereas neutral refractories doesn't get affected by either acid or bases. Properties of refractories. From the name only, they are having refractoriness. Refractoriness, that is to withstand high temperature without any fusion, decomposition or any change. Then refractories have RUL, refractory under load, that is they does not show any deformation even at high temperature. Then thermal expansion. Thermal expansion of refractory should be very low. They must not contract or expand with change in temperature. Thermal conductivity. Refractories must have thermal character, that is they must allow heat but not to a great extent, that is they must have very low thermal conductivity. Porosity. Refractories must not be porous because presence of pores allow moisture to trap, and presence of moisture increases loss of heat. Hence, size of pores should be as small as possible so that moisture will not enter. Moreover, refractories must not be porous, or they must not have pores over their surface. Thank you. Now, in these three videos, we have gone through metals, alloys, cement, refractories and lime. Now, you are requested to prepare your own notes during this lockdown period so that you will have your own data with you while exam. However exam will be conducted, you will be ready for it. Thank you.